How you doing? It's Brad Stinson, VA Home Loan Specialist. I'm sitting here with 3 agents from the West Michigan area. The man to my left is responsible for bringing me into the Marine Corps in 2004. Who are you, sir?
My name is Ken Murillo. I'm with 616 Realty.
And a Marine Corps veteran.
Brad.
22 years. Poor soul.
Fritz Ball with Keller Williams Realty, and Kenny also recruited me.
He recruited half the state of Michigan.
I guess I'll go. I only met Kenny last year, so I guess you can't really say recruit. My name is Brett Busgard, part of the Busgard Group real estate team here in West Michigan. So I know Kenny through Brad and stuff, and I get to see what he does in the industry in West Michigan, and he's killing it. Both these guys are amazing realtors at what they do.
So the whole purpose of this discussion is to really bring to light some of the tragedies that we've all experienced, right? And who better to discuss this than agents themselves, right? So what is the perception out there on the VA home loan from your point of view? I mean, I talk about it all the time, but I'm a lender, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, who wants to kick it off first?
I think the perception is a lot of it's takes 45 days to close or 60 days to close. Mm-hmm. A lot of it, there's just a bad stigma around it, whether it's long closing time, appraisals, things like that.
Let's talk about the closing time. Like, how did we get there? Right? Like,
I don't know how we got there back in the day or where it came from, but
it's the Christmas ham story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? The Christmas ham story. For those who are tuning in, the Christmas ham story is this: family gathers for holiday meal. Mm-hmm. Daughter sees the mom cut off both ends of the ham, and she says, "Hey, mom, why do you do that?" And she's like, "Well, that's a good question, honey. I learned it from my mom. Go ask her." So daughter goes up to grandma and says, "Hey, grandma, why does my mom cut off both ends of the ham?" She's like, I don't know. But my mom said she learned it from you. She's like, "Yeah, I know. I learned it from my mom. Go ask her." So daughter goes up to great grandma and says, "Hey, my mom cuts off both ends of the ham, who said she learned it from her mom, who says she learned it from you. Why do you cut off both ends of the ham?" And she just starts laughing. She said, "Well, honey, our oven was too small, so I had to cut off both ends of the ham to make the ham fit." Right? So generations have been cutting off both ends of the ham for no reason at all.
Yeah,
right? And I think that's what's happening out there today.
It's the education. It's the lack of the education. It's realtors in general. I think our median age is in their 60s when you look at it as a broad whole.
Oh, yeah.
Well, a lot of those guys, they're not learning. They are just, I've been in it for a while,
Set in
that's
their
how I'm
ways.
going to get it. So they're not learning. The worst part is they're then educating the generations that come in.
Yes, I know.
You know.
That's so true. So true. I mean, I had a transaction where I called the agent and said, "Hey, we submitted an offer on your property. It's a VA offer. Have you ever done a VA transaction?" He's like, "Son, I've been doing this since 1988, and that was the last time I accepted a VA offer." I'm like, dude, I was in 3rd grade.
Yeah.
You know,
I wasn't even born yet.
are you going to hold me accountable for the things that I was doing in 1988? No, come on, man. It's 2019, right?
Yeah.
The VA has understood or heard the gripes about the old VA home loan, and they have actually taken the action and fixed it for the most part. I mean, there's still some small things that they're still working through, but the 45-day closing is insane. I mean, absolutely nuts. The national average application to close, 23 days in 2018. 23, not 45, not 60, not 90, 23. All right? And if you know, or if you're working with a specialist who understands the VA home loan, we can get it done way quicker than that. I've closed 3 VA home loans last month in 1 calendar week. 7 days.
Yeah.
That's not 45.
People don't understand that, though.
Right.
You know, I think you guys can vouch for it. Who you work with is so important. Just because the lender at the local bank does VA
Doesn't mean they know how.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, not only the lenders either, but I mean, just the knowledge that the agents themselves out there have.
Or don't
have the lack of, because there's been multiple times where I have educated these agents when I'm putting in a VA offer on how it works and what to expect and what not to expect, and the reason why the purchase agreement says certain things, or we have changed certain things because Brad has educated me on the VA home loan, how to submit an offer that's going to be accepted, to where they're looking at me like, you can't do that. And I said, yes, I can. And if you don't believe me, you can call Brad and ask Brad. He'll let you know. And the thing is like, the biggest thing that they ask is, how long is it going to take?
Oh, yeah.
And based off of my experiences with Brad, I mean, even my own VA home loan that I went through Brad with, I mean, we were cleared to close before the buyers of my other house were even cleared to close.
It was a cash buyer.
And it was a cash buyer,
It was a cash buyer.
They had to
like
close on theirs.
Option,
really. So, I mean, to be educated in the VA home loan itself, to know the benefits that our service members have is just as important as, finding the right lender also. And with Brad, that's all he does. So he knows the ins and the outs of the VA book and everything to be able to get it taken care of, and being able to be cleared to close as fast as we are with him. That's amazing. Yeah.
I have a deal right now that we're working on that we've been done, ready to go for 2 weeks, and the sellers don't even have their title yet.
Oh my goodness.
It just blows me away. But I'm sure the VA is getting blamed for this.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, they're blaming the VA. It's like, dude, I admit when I mess up. I mean, I like messing up. Like, full disclosure, because when you do that, you grow from it.
Right.
I'm never going to make that same mistake again.
Yeah, you learn.
Right?
It.
So failure is actually a good thing. People that don't fail are full of what.
Yeah.
Like, we're all human, right? But true test of character is you step up and say, yeah, my fault, I own it, right? This is what we're doing to take care of that problem in the future. I'm never going to do that again. But that's the problem with agents and lenders. Egos are huge. Like, they're so worried about what other people think about them that they're not going to read the guideline. Take the extra 3 minutes and actually dig into it and say, you're right. We could do this with the VA, because the VA is so lenient. But it just blows me away and infuriates me when I hear, well, I was told from a veteran, right?
Yeah.
I was told by this lender that I have to go conventional and put 20% down. Why?
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? A conventional loan is extremely difficult, right? I mean, there's overlays on top of overlays and like, and your purchasing power goes way down, because now we're talking PMI, DTI, right? PMI, private mortgage insurance, how much money you make versus how much money you owe, right? With the VA, it's not like that. It's actual real money. Right?
That fear holds so many people back, because you submit an offer, you get it approved, and an uneducated agent will be like, okay, well, now we have inspections. Well, I've heard VA's tough. Well, they automatically knock that transaction to close by about 10%. So they're like, okay, now I'm 90% certain that this is going to close. Oh man, I've heard about appraisals too, can be a hassle. Another roadblock in their brain, they're saying, okay, now I'm like 80 to 70% sure. Every roadblock, they knock off about 10% that they think it's going to close. How does that translate to your client? How does that translate to you? You're already in your brain shutting this thing down due to the lack of education on it. And
Correct.
that translates to your client.
It does.
Oh, definitely.
They totally feel it. But what you're talking about, an inspection is an inspection. It doesn't matter the financing type.
Yeah.
It's a home inspection. They are there to tell you if the nuts and bolts of this house are good. If you read over the actual home inspection, it's like Googling, I rolled my ankle, how do I fix it? All of a sudden you're having a heart attack and go immediately to the ER.
And I think that brings a point too of the lack of knowledge as far as the agents out there. When they put VA as a term, they need to make sure that house is actually going to be VA, because there's been ones that I've went to. There's small things that us as agents can look for when we're showing the property.
Get ahead of it.
And to get ahead of that, because then we can let our clients know, hey, this is something that we need to be cautious of. Not knocking it, saying that it's not going to go through, because there's nothing there. There are things that you can't fix for the VA home loan to go through. But a majority of the stuff, if they're putting VA, is going to be minimal. That won't take much. I mean, like,
most common
chipping
one.
paint around the windowsills.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Handrails.
Handrails too. Crack
Loose
and peeling
handrails,
paint and handrails are the two most common ones. Well, safety. You want to make sure people can get up and down the steps.
Yep.
And cracked and peeling paint. What state do we live in?
Yeah.
Michigan.
We have 4 seasons in one day.
Yeah. So
Right?
I think
So the paint on the exterior of the home protects it from the elements. Right? So why would any lender in their right mind give you $200,000 for a home that's going to be crumbling because there's no protectant on the wood?
yeah.
Yes.
It just
But my big thing is if the agents are educated on the VA and what the VA is looking for, especially the appraisers what they're looking for, then we can pretty much mitigate that prior to it even.
who you work
going
with
through.
matters.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It really helps streamline the process because every transaction that we have done together, we have been ready to rock within 2 weeks maybe, right? That's worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Right.
And the thing is too is you got to be on your client too to get you the paperwork when you're asking for it, because that will slow it down too if you don't have the paperwork.
Correct.
In, so.
And as far as inspection goes, correct me if I'm wrong, but the VA holds it's the same standards as any government loan.
Correct.
Yes.
Now
There's no
there's
everybody, all the agents
Yes.
out there think there's some big mysterious VA.
It's its own thing.
Yeah.
It's its own thing.
It's not. It's the same as any
here's
government
where
loan.
it differs. The VA has strict timeline requirements. So the fact that the VA appraisal is going to take 45 no, the VA approved appraiser has to be completed with the entire process within 14 days. 14 days, that's a hard timeline,
Yeah.
right? And from every appraiser I've ever talked to, being VA approved is like a badge of honor, right? They get paid more, they get paid quicker, so yeah, they're going to jump on these things right away,
Yeah.
right? So if we encounter one that is being a little rogue and doing their own thing, guess what I do? I call mom and dad, the VA. The VA will get involved, and we get results within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like Fred said,
the next
man,
day.
Yeah.
It's so much about this interpretation. In Michigan, we have so many down payment assistance programs. They all have similar guidelines. When you're listing that house, and that's where I think a big misconception too is it's all on the buyer's agent to make sure. As a listing agent,
Yeah.
educate your people. So when an offer comes across, I listed my neighbor's house, I had an offer came across VA, it was not with you, and I called you.
Yep.
And I said, what do you know about these folks? Is this good? Do they do their due diligence? Because I want to present that with confidence too. And that's the thing, as a listing agent on that side, we're just as responsible for the education and making sure that the home is ready for that as on the buy side. It's a two-way street, but it's no different than 90% of the other down payment assistance programs we have here. If
Or
not, it's
FHA.
a better option.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
It is.
In no scenario will any other loan program beat out the VA. Period. Yeah, maybe if you want to put down 20% for any, for
Conventional.
conventional product, but that's up to like 1.5 million, and then conventional, and they kind of flip. But why are we going to tell our clients to put money down, do this, do that, when they don't need, they don't have to?
It's
It's
not the
our
best fit.
fiduciary responsibility to do that, right? As agents and lenders, do what's best for our client. Make sure our clients are doing the right things and getting the right product for them. It just gains raving fans and a client for life if you do that, right?
yeah.
Why? But why? Swallow your pride. Come on. A veteran has earned our respect. When you say they've earned that extra 5 minutes,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't want to give them that extra 5 minutes, I will take care of them. Right? That's the way I approach my business. Nobody will take better care of them than me. Period. Right? You do your thing. I'll help you do your thing.
It's so
But-
important who they pick. Who they work with really is tantamount
And
to the success in the transaction.
the three of us can talk about
Well,
the
it's-
ones that we think are our allies or not.
I think it's kind of on the same topic a little bit. I can't tell you how many times I've got phone calls from veterans that I know who are not necessarily even in West Michigan, but somewhere in Michigan or somewhere else. And they, hey, we're supposed to close tomorrow. This deal, it's going to fall apart, blah, blah, blah. And hey, give Brad a call. Brad They call Brad, and everything gets taken care of.
Two of them were the ones that we closed in one calendar week last month.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
like it's who you work with and who you know. I mean, on a national scale, right? I mean, we've helped a lot of veterans on a national level just because of our online presence, right?
Yeah.
And I know when I roll out and do things, the reason why I'm so confident is because I know the team that's behind me, right? Just like when we're on, in the Marine Corps, we're full of pride because we know the Marines on our right and left have the same training and they got our six no matter what. So that really does matter, right? I mean, we can walk across the water because of our brothers on our right and left, right? So we think. I mean, we take a step and we mistake, but,
we'll do it.
Reality hits fast.
it's who you work with and who's
Try.
behind you,
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem stepping up and helping another veteran in another state, even though I don't know the rules and all that, because every state's different, right? But I have a whole team behind me that I can hook them up with, and we can take care of a veteran in at least 35 states. All the good ones. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All the ones that are high on VA.
Everywhere
You know.
except California.
We're licensed in California too.
Yeah.
It really does a lot to you as a person, going into battle with the A team, 100%. Knowledge is power. Power is confidence.
Knowledge is power, man, and I think that's a lot of agents out there that they don't take advantage of the classes that you give to us.
Man, yeah.
And the thing is you can't just take it one time and expect to know everything. You gotta take it multiple times to really learn about it, and then at the same time you gotta get involved with it too and know it. And
I mean, I've taken Brad's class like 3-4 times, and I just hit him up this week. I'm like, hey man, I can't remember, but
go look at your notes.
Is oil a good heat source? He's asked me like 3 times, but it's been like he's asked me.
we've never crossed the finish line on that
He's
one.
asked me 2 or 3 times, and I've gotten the answer every time. But it's been so spaced out that I'm like, dude, I don't remember.
Well, and it's
Hold on,
broad.
give me a minute.
It's a broad answer too, and it's like we don't really know, and we still don't really know if we can do it.
I'm really glad you said that. Broad answer. That's what the VA loan is. It's vague. The guidelines are vague and they're confusing. It's a government program, number one. That's why it's so out there. But it's vague for a reason, because the VA believes what I believe. Providing a home to a veteran, they're less likely to take their life. And I know you guys believe the same thing. So it leaves a lot up to the lenders themselves to interpret these. Okay? The blame the VA things are what lenders add on top of the guidelines, lender overlays. Like the most common one, FICO score. The VA doesn't have a FICO score. They don't set the guidelines because the VA doesn't give the money. The VA insures the money. Lenders give the money. So every lender is different. It always cracks me up. You tagged me on a Facebook post one time. What's the BIN FICO score for VA? It took 4 hours for my join request to be approved. But by the time that I saw what he posted, he tagged me in, there was 500 comments on this.
Yeah.
And all of them were wrong.
500 wrong answers. So,
No wonder there's so much confusion.
Because the Christmas ham is why all
Yeah.
all these comments on there were because of what they heard.
because us veterans are just as guilty, right? Because we are just regurgitating the things that we're told, and we want to help other vets, right? That's that's the thing.
I don't know about you, but I don't know how many veterans I've met that they have no clue. I mean, when you get out of the Marine Corps, they don't teach you, or in the military in general, they don't teach you anything about your VA home loan.
Well,
They just say,
do.
you have this opportunity, you can
I'm
use
so
it.
glad you said that, because they do. When the student's ready, the teacher appears. It was TAPS class.
Well,
When you sit through TAPS class, your mind is not on buying a home. Your mind is on
No.
10 days and a wake up and I'm free.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
it's 8 hours
So
a day for
correct.
5 days straight.
Mine was a one-day thing. I'm an old timer, old core.
No.
But it was 1 day, 8 hours, death by PowerPoint, taught by the VA of all people. So it was really interesting.
Yeah, I wasn't listening to anything.
I know, because you can't. You
I went
just
through
can't
it.
retain it.
I went through it twice, and because the first time I was going to retire, and then I decided not to, and then I did retire, and I still don't remember
Exactly.
the class that they gave. They may have hit on it a little bit, but I retained more knowledge from your class than I did that one. So I
Well,
was
and it's like even
getting ready to retire. Didn't
in
wanna-
that class, whatever they do teach, it's not in depth
The
by
tap
any
class.
means. Yeah.
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 Yeah, this is a brief dusting, and that's okay. I understand what they're doing, but you're just not in that mindset. You're just not there. I mean, I just spent the last 30 days trying to get all the checks in the box to take this class so I can get my DD-214 so I can get out to freedom.
Right.
Freedom beard.
To never shave
And,
again.
yeah, and you just can't you can't comprehend buying a home. You know, like maybe some people are thinking I want to use my GI benefits for school. Maybe, but I don't remember. Like I recall the room that it was in, but I don't. Whatever they told me, it's just it's a data dump.
And that's another positive for you, Brad, as the lender, because I mean, just this past weekend we did a class for veterans. What would we call it? A veteran
Boot camp.
A VA home buying boot camp for veterans. You know, and the participants that we had that came, they were just like, wow. I didn't realize I can do that, or I didn't realize that I can use the VA loan more than one time.
Yeah,
I got
that's a
hosed.
big thing.
I got hosed.
Yeah,
you know,
I
there was
got
2 people in
hosed
the class that got hosed.
And
you
then
know?
that's why they wanted to come to the class so that they could make sure that they weren't going to get hosed again. You know,
Well, and like even you can, like, and a lot of people don't know, you can have a VA loan and buy a house, you know, and
You get 2 VA loans at the same time.
right.
I want to hit on that a second. Like, it's one of those things where, as a salesperson, we're always trying to find a way to get to that next level. How are we going to add more income? You can either add more lead sources or improve the ones you have. How many realtors shy away from VA because they don't understand that this person can use it again and again and again? You want to talk about a repeat client. Who are the most loyal people to any business? Veterans. Why do people want to hire them like crazy? Because they're so loyal. You educate that veteran, you have someone that every time they're going to buy a house, it's through you.
Not only them, their family, their friends,
Exactly.
and their other veteran friends.
As a realtor, as a coach, as a teacher in real estate, this is something we need to teach our teams. You want a great lead source? Here it is because of all these benefits. I mean, they could go again and again and again. And like Kenny said, if I educate them on how to use it, you can't tell me they're not going to keep using it.
There is absolutely no more of a happier client at the end of the entire process than a veteran, right? I mean, it's amazing to see what you did, right? Helping them buy this home, it transforms their life and in turn transforms yours, right? When I started down the path of being a VA specialist, you know, I was like, I knew I wanted to help other veterans. I just didn't know how. What capacity could I serve in? And the opportunity to become a loan officer arose, and I was like, this is how I could do it. Well, right now in 2019, I got out of the Marine Corps in 2008. I'm the most mentally stable I've ever been in my entire life. And I'm not saying I'm crazy. It's just we all go through different things when we transition out, you know, and because each and every day from 9 to 5, or I don't work 9 to 5. I work from 9 to 9. I work when I'm needed, right? Each and every day I'm helping another veteran overcome the struggles that I've already dealt with, right? Everybody's different. Everybody deals with them in different ways, and not everybody's going to respond the same way. So different therapeutic ways to do it. But I'm helping them each and every day, even if their credit is not where it needs to be, I'm still helping them. Or if they're not ready for a home, I'm still helping them. And that's the difference between just a general loan officer and myself is like, I'll take 9 calls and have really crappy leads of those 9 calls. General loan officer takes 9 crappy lead calls. They're pissed at the end of the day. I sleep like a bear, you know, because I know that I've made a difference in their life and I'm helping them transition, you know. So when you get involved, it really changes your life.
I mean, that's a perfect example, though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this guy, he was homeless 2 years ago, 3
Living
years
under
ago,
a palm tree.
living under a tree in Florida. Been talking with Brad and I for the last year and some change. And
But he was talking to other lenders before he got to me. So
And
he
they-
was
yeah.
denied multiple times.
yeah, and they told him they couldn't do it. But you worked with them and got everything where it needed to be and got him pre-approved, and we got him a home.
Yeah, so the whole thing is he's 13 months into Chapter 13 bankruptcy. The VA guidelines state that after 12 months of payments into Chapter 13, a lender can give favorable consideration for approval of a loan.
Nice.
There you go. The VA being vague. Well, how favorable are we?
Yeah, what does favorable
Right?
mean?
What does that mean, right? His FICO score was above the minimum, right? The main thing is any bankruptcy, you have to establish credit responsibility. When you do the other one where you wipe out all your debts, it's very difficult to reestablish within 12 months. So usually you don't see that, right? But Chapter 13, you consolidate and you make a monthly payment, right? So we did the proper steps. We got the approval from the court and we got the approval from us. We pushed forward. I mean, geez, it was not even 30 days from the time that we got the approval. I mean, it took a little bit to get the approval because we had to go through the courts. They had to do their paperwork, and they wanted me to issue a pre-approval. I'm like, I don't know if I can pre-approve this because I'm going to get a denied because he's got a bankruptcy. So I had to go through our legal to get that pre-approval, and they're like, oh yeah. So we got it within a month and a half. Sent them over to Fritz. We found a house. We closed in 30 days. So it took 2.5 months. That was probably the longest transaction, but.
Well, I mean, there were circumstances surrounding that caused that.
Well, and I went to high school with that kid.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just crazy how
The connection.
Oh yeah, and like even now, if I send you someone who's in that situation, like you're saying, you sleep fine at night. Like I sleep fine at night, knowing like you're not just going to take their call and never call them back again.
Correct.
Like it's eventually, it might take a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, but we'll get there.
And the reason why we call him Bankruptcy Batman is because apparently I took a call from him. And he said, if you can make this happen, I'm coming to sign a Batman costume. I don't remember this.
Please tell me.
I don't remember this.
He did.
I don't remember him telling me that. So I
That's
had a closing.
He did full Batman costume, mask, cape, everything.
I had a closing at 9 a.m. and he was at 10 and at the same location. So I'm walking out with the clients. And I look over and I'm like, you don't see that every day. There's a Batman in the parking lot. Yeah. And then he's like hovering right over by me. I'm like, what is going on? So then he takes off his mask. He goes, hey, Brad. And I was like, what am I looking at here? And he's like, I told you, on our first call, if you make this deal happen, I'm going to sign. He's like, I'm a man of my word. I was like, us Marines are. All right, let's go. So he legit signed all of his mortgage docs in his Batman costume. So we dubbed him, and he's cool with it, Bankruptcy Batman.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
It was an awesome transaction, and hearing his story and how we've changed his life.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
it's insane.
I'm not saying that we did it all, but there's a lot that he had to do. But we gave him the tools, right? And Ken and I had one just like that too,
Well, the tools is so important. Crossing out that section in the purchase agreement. Holy cow, talk about freaking people out. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that.
You're not supposed to alter the purchase agreement.
Yeah, it's a tool to make it talk about that. I think
that's
huge.
another issue that
Can
hopefully
we talk
can.
about it?
Yeah, are we allowed to talk about that?
I'm not teaching you how to do it. No.
But it's one of those tools, I should say.
Well, I mean,
we don't need a deep dive it, but
I would like to talk about it because if it gets out there, then maybe something will be done about it. But
what's one of
the purchase agreement is discriminatory towards veterans.
Yeah, if you ask me, it shouldn't be on there.
It shouldn't be on there. Reason being, I mean, it's automatically with the purchase agreement that we're using
in West Michigan. The West Michigan form.
It is automatically. It is the only one that is requiring right up front for the seller to pay something.
Yeah, and that's
I
so
think
wrong.
they had good intentions. I think their intentions were good behind
It's the
it,
Christmas
trying
story.
to help the veteran, but it really hurts in the long
Because
run.
now we're going in. If we're going up against a
It's
conventional,
Oh yeah.
the VA loan advice of conventional. If we're not writing them the way we write them, then that's automatically our VA loan is
Or
no
even
longer.
versus FHA RD. It's already-
Any loan.
So you have two offers, one VA, one RD, let's say, okay? On the purchase agreement, page 2, paragraph 15, in the event of VA financing, seller will pay for the inspection of pests and termites, okay? Meh. That one's only half true, right? But there's also one more paragraph on page 4, paragraph 21, that the seller will pay for the veteran's title closing fee. Right? But it all comes down to who you work with, because what's predominant and what I want to talk about is we know these banks to be allies because we're automatically enrolled in a bank, and our paychecks are deposited
Yeah,
from
when you
day one
enlist.
at boot camp. So we go to these people when we need money because that's where our money's at.
Because they're
right?
That's
veteran friendly.
where you're taught.
They're
Yeah.
great banks. They're great auto insurance. You name it. They're not great at lending the VA home loan, right? Which blows me away is why they're still up at the top every year.
But
right?
they're up at the top because of the fact that they're on the military establishments and people automatically go to
Path
them.
of least resistance. People go to.
And they spend
Because
80%
they
of their
always have.
budget on marketing. I mean, if you Google VA home loan, the top 5 that pop up in green that says ad right next to it, I mean, they drop a ton of money on ads, right? Which is just infuriating. If I Google VA lender handbook, I have to scroll down 2 times in order to find the legitimate va.gov website. Like, it's forcing me to go to these other lenders. That's just maddening. But
Well, I think it goes back to lack of education, not of realtors, but of the veterans themselves,
Yeah,
or
I mean,
the
everybody's
active duty military service
you know,
member.
I'm not
period.
pointing fingers at anybody. I mean, everybody's guilty of it. I mean, all that means to us is we need to step up our game and bring our knowledge to a national level. That's why I joined the Veterans Home Front, right? Because I want to be national. The word needs to get out. But who you work with matters, because where this is all coming from is predominantly these guys charge a flat 1% origination fee, which, number one, grossly is overpaying, right? A veteran is grossly overpaying. I don't charge $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 to do a loan. No way, right? But if that origination charge is paid by the veteran, the full 1%, the veteran can't pay for any other fees, period. Who pays for them? The VA doesn't care, right? So what was happening back in the day is you get to closing and, hey, buyer's agent, are you going to pay for this? Buyer's agent, Brandon, no, right? They don't have any money. Do it, right?
Yeah.
Listing agent, are you going to pay for it? Yeah, right, listing agents, right? So who gets stuck with it? This home seller, right? That's where this is all coming from. So I understand their intentions of why they did that, right? But for them to just blatantly say, we're not fixing it, it's a lack of education, and then I offer to educate and you still say no? Like, so you just want to continue to have VA offers pushed to the side because of this. There's no dollar amount on these things either on the purchase agreement.
No.
So you want a home seller to agree to a home inspection and they don't even know how much it is? Like, are you kidding me?
Termite inspection?
We know
Oh,
it to
yeah.
be like
Yeah,
$300 or
for
$400 tops, right? You know, between the two.
Well, closing fee too. Closing fee can be anywhere
Depending
from,
on what,
Right.
Yeah.
depending
So-
on who you use.
So how
Exactly.
are you? How are you going to say, hey, $200,000
Who you
offer,
know matters.
$200,000 offer? But if you take the VA, you're going to have to accept the fact that you're going to have to pay for 2 inspections that you don't even know how much money it could be.
Well, and
Right.
then that listing agent is being like you got to pay for this right up front. Not to mention the fact that if something comes from the home inspection, what
Right.
they're going to request you
Yeah.
to pay. So
You know, I think it was a really I failed miserably, right, with a couple transactions. I didn't, well, not during the transaction, the offer phase. I'm like, why aren't we getting our offers looked at? Because agents aren't even taking my call. They're not calling me back, not responding to emails or text messages. What's going on here, right? So I got mad, and getting mad only, it does nothing. So I'm like, all right, logically, what could we do? Turn the negatives into positives, right? And those, is negative, still is negative, because I'm the only one that teaches this, right? Out of how many loan officers here? I mean, there's 5,000, right?
And every day they're trying to get our attention.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know how many people stop at your place. It drives me bonkers. Hey, just tell them I'm not it.
Yeah.
I don't need another generic loan guy
How-
to come
how
in and
many-
say, I can do conventional, da 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 da. Great, you can do a bazillion things. Are you good at any of them? Like that's part of it too, the education. Give me someone that I know can do it, that's educated on it, and I'm going to focus on that person. I don't need to waste my time, my client's time, their time.
and that's
Sorry,
why
that's a
I
long
mean
tangent.
No,
that's
no,
fine
it's
because
totally
that's the thing I like about Brad though is Brad can do them all.
Yeah.
But he is a specialist in VA, and that's what he specializes in. And I think that right there is the biggest reason why the deals that we have with Brad
Oh, yes.
end up going through smoothly. To where I just had an incident with another bank that because we have to only recommend to our clients who to use, and if they don't decide to use Brad, then shame on them. But I mean, which is the reason why that deal didn't end up going through, because they didn't know they had to call the VA themselves to find out what paper they needed to fill out.
Do you know,
which in
it's
turn
so
messed
infuriating.
everything up, and I was just like, man.
Do you know how many times I've talked to a veteran who, a couple from you, like just within the last 2 months, that they're talking with one of these national lenders, and they're like, yeah, we need your point statement and honorable discharge document. Go find it.
No guidance.
What?
I don't even know what that is.
a point statement?
So like, they're telling you to go find this document that you don't even know exists.
He just got out and he don't even know what
And,
it was.
okay, a point statement is for a reservist who just got out, right? So you have to prove that they've met their time in service, right? And prove that they're honorably discharged. So go find it. Where do I even start, right? So, like, I help them. Like, I will video chat and screen share with them, guide them on the way, because it's a government website where you go. So it can be confusing, but it's a fantastic website, all right? Which they are changing it now from the benefits portal to va.gov, which is freaking amazing. It's so user friendly. It's awesome. You can.
Nice.
It's not the password requirement, from, man, but it's great. They just started the migration, and I think it's already live. I don't know if the benefits portal is going to close anytime soon, but a veteran wants somebody to help them because we're so afraid to mess up, but we're also afraid to ask for help.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Like we're very prideful, like.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to ask. I'll call these guys and ask for help all the time. That's the bond that we have. But it's hard. It would be hard for me to reach out to you and say, "Hey, I need your help."
Yeah.
And it's no disrespect to you. It's just, I don't want you to think anything differently than me.
It's that bond, and that's what too. Sometimes when I talk with my agents, it's like, guys, this is a home run opportunity for you. You work with a veteran. You know how many referrals you're going to get from that one veteran? You're going to get such a buy-in because there is that bond that someone that hasn't been in it, we can't relate to.
Yeah.
We can try, but let's be honest, that's a niche that you always want to get into. I mean, it blows my mind. Guy calls you from Zillow, and you work with him, send him to who know what lender. Do you really think that guy's going to all of a sudden refer you 8 people? Mm-hmm. You work with one veteran and you do a good job because A, they deserve it, and 2, that's your job. You will get so much more. It makes so much business sense in my mind. And that's what I don't get why people look down on it. From a realtor's perspective, it's a gold nugget if you understand it right, but you don't understand it right.
But you have to be willing to ask for help. I mean, if you refer me somebody and I blow it out of the water and go above and beyond and help them get their point statement and do this and do that, you look like a rock star.
Oh, yeah.
It makes your job so much easier, right? So now we both have a dude who's going to refer us
Raving
all
fan.
of his friends,
raving fan.
It's like, even though I keep talking about going above and beyond, it's just what I do, right? Because I know that when I was going through this, I know now that it was when the VA was transitioning to all digital, right? I didn't know about archives.gov when I lost my DD-214, right? It took me 2.5 months to actually meet with the Dave officer, who there was only 2 in the state of Michigan, and they traveled to all the VAs, right? But it took me 9 months to muster up the courage to even go to the VA, which is a mile away from my house, right? So when I walked in, I got denied. Most veterans aren't going to come back, right?
Yeah.
I went back, and I waited in line for 4 hours, only for him to, as he spins in his office chair, rip off a piece of paper, archives.gov, that's where you go. I'm like, what? Why doesn't anybody know about this? Why doesn't the front desk lady, like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, so frustrating. So, I know where I was at when that happened to me, and I refuse to let that happen to anybody else. So I will help them because, it takes me 2 minutes to help them do this, right? Because I know exactly where to click, and, for them, it's going to be 3 hours of hair-pulling madness. Mm-hmm. And then there's, no, I'm done.
Well, it takes a lot for them to ask for that help, too, even for something so simple. Like, even for me, if it was me and if I was a home buyer and I didn't know, and you're just a random lender who says, hey, go get this document.
Correct.
I'll be like, okay, I'm going to figure it out because that's just how we're trained, right? Like, we're not trained to go ask somebody else for help. We're trained to figure it out on your own, and that's what I would try to do until I couldn't figure it out.
I think they made us read a book about that. Message to Garcia.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that Brad has taught me too is working with veterans. My sphere is mainly veterans because I did so much time on recruiting duty out here. Is that one of the things that you ask them too is have you applied for your benefit through the VA? And you'd be surprised on how many veterans that we've talked to that haven't. Oh. And Brad will take it that next step and let them know what needs to be done on top of getting the documents for the VA home loan. But now we're going to help them out to get into the actual VA.
Yeah, get to the VA and get their benefits.
Us veterans continue to think that if we apply for a disability, we're taking money from the people that actually need it. Well, we all need it, all right? But what's happening is Congress sets a budget for every area, right? Mm-hmm. So at the beginning of the year, they set the budget for VA disability benefits. If you don't use it, you lose it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So by you saying that I don't need it, you're actually screwing all of us over, right? Well, that money's going to, it's getting reallocated elsewhere. So apply. What's the worst that can happen? No.
Yeah. Well, it's not even the disability part of it. I mean, it's just even being like most veterans don't know that you can go to the VA and get medical treatment for free. Yeah. Like you don't need the disability. Like I mean,
disability is another portion
it's a whole
of
other
it,
but like they don't even know you can just go and get health care. You can get your medication from the VA
or the resources that are available at the new VA clinic in Wyoming. I mean, it's a great place. I mean, the first time I ever went there was for a 92 for 22 walk to make sure, coordinate a stopping point. And how long have they been open?
Yeah, we went there and Brad's like, "Well, this place is pretty sweet." I'm like, "Yeah, this is over here, that's over there. It's down there. It's pretty cool."
And imagine if the education took place to where that might help with that fear of asking for help.
Correct.
Because it's the fear, it's the uncertainty why people don't ask for things a lot of times.
Yeah.
I'm uncertain how I'm going to appear. I'm uncertain how to actually get that done. So I'm not even going to try and put that idea in my head.
Well, with the veteran, it's more like when you're active duty, it's if you ask for help, it's almost like shamed on, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't figure it out yourself. Mm-hmm. And even if you do ask for help, you
get nothing.
Senior person's gonna be like, figure it out. And I've done the same thing. To my junior Marines, it's like, well, figure it out. That's how I learned. Somebody told me to figure it out.
Our leaders were the ones that joined right after high school. I mean, what age were you when you joined?
18.
And you did 22 years. I joined at 22 and I did 4, right? Because you're so protected. They don't let you learn. Think about the life experiences you had from 18 to 22. How many oopsies did you have? Mm-hmm. I look back and I'm like, what? How am I still alive? I did a lot of stupid things. I did a lot of stupid things in the Corps, but when I was 18, I was stupid, right? Same. And I did a lot of things, and I look back and I'm like, wow. But I learned from those mistakes, and it made me who I am today. That's why I don't regret anything in my life. But when you're 18, PFC or private, you're not allowed to make those mistakes because you're going to get dragged right back to where you bought that car from to return it, right? So there's a lot of life lessons that aren't taught. So these staff NCOs and leaders don't know. They're giving you wrong advice too. So how many staff NCOs have we talked to about the VA home loan on active duty right now? Mm-hmm. They're like, no, it's stupid.
Yeah.
No, it's not stupid. Yeah. It's not at all. You're getting free government money, BAH, that you should be paying on a home for.
The government. I mean, I did it myself. I used the VA loan 3 times while on active duty.
Nice.
And
every time you sell the home, you keep the equity.
I keep the equity and then go to the next one and get into not having to pay any money out of my pocket. And the government's giving you the BAH because you rate it.
Basic housing allowance.
Basic housing allowance when you live off base, and let them pay your mortgage.
Yeah,
let them pay your mortgage. You're building equity, and then when you go to transfer after that 3 years or 4 years, whichever it may be, now you're getting the equity from that house, and you're going to the next duty station to use the VA home loan again.
You're correct. And
and
here in West Michigan, you get $1,400 a month in BAH. That's a good home.
Yeah.
But again, it's the senior leadership that is telling these guys when they come out here, especially to Michigan, telling them, don't buy a house, rent.
Yeah, so it's an uphill battle right now, but we're still battling.
And I would say I was one of them too. Before I got into the business and saw it myself, here I am telling these junior Marines that are coming out to recruiting duty, find a place to rent. Don't buy a house because you don't know how long you're going to be here because you might not make it through recruiting duty. And but
not everybody can be like Ken.
22 years recruiting.
No, 16. Okay. But
the fleet didn't want you, huh?
And then even when I was teaching recruiters at recruiter school in San Diego, that's one of the things that I would tell my students is, whatever you do, don't buy a house when you get out there because you don't know if you're going to make it past the probation period, you know. And now that I look at it, I'm like, man, you know, why did I do that? You know, not only because I'm in the profession now, but at the same time, it was the Christmas ham, but at the same time, you know, there's a possibility for these guys to be able to, and ladies, to be able to make equity off of a house instead of allowing somebody else to make money off of you.
Yeah.
A Marine I served with, I didn't even know he was still on active duty. He bought a house outside of Camp Pendleton in 2005. He still owns it using his VA home loan, right? If you know anything about California, home values have like quadrupled.
Oh, they're double.
Right?
Yep.
I think he bought it for like $400,000. He probably owes under $2, and that was 15 years ago, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
He is set to make bank, and he hasn't paid a dime for that house. The government has paid for it all. So he's going to sell it. He's probably going to net $1 million, and he's set for life.
It's worth $800K all day.
He was transferred to Camp Lejeune, which is completely across the country, but he kept that house.
Smart.
For whatever reason, you know.
Well, he can rent it out.
Because he rented it out to another brand.
He rented
So
out
he's
to
getting a
one
double
of Kenny's
whammy, you know?
recruiting clients.
Yeah, one of the
recruiters out there. But yeah, I mean, it's insane. And then he can go to North Carolina and buy another house there and do the same thing.
I'm sure he did. I lost touch with
Houses
him.
in North Carolina are dirt cheap.
Yeah, and you can't resell those either.
No, what you get here for $500,000, you can get down there for $2. It's insane.
Well, what you get from California for $1 million, you can get here for 250.
You're right.
$1,000.
It's all where you live.
Yeah, it all depends on where you live, but I mean, regardless of where you live, too, the knowledge is still
It's huge.
Is crucial when it comes to the VA loan and when it comes to assisting the veterans in purchasing their house, because a lot of times that's basically what it is. You know, they don't know themselves.
And I think a lot of times agents and lenders forget that, yeah, we do this every day. They don't buy homes every day. So this is a huge life milestone for them, right? This is a big deal. You need to treat it as such, you know, like dumb it down, give them the extra time. I mean, we are getting paid to do this, you know, like it's our responsibility.
Our responsibility.
You know, not Google.
Yeah.
You know, the way I look at it is, yes, please Google me. You know, like you will see that I talk the talk and walk the walk. You know, I'm not just all talk. That always cracks me up. I love serving veterans. I help veterans all the time. You go to their Facebook page. There's not even an American flag anywhere to be found on their page, period. Right?
You know,
no mention.
Red, white, and blue. Red, white,
And black.
black.
I got a flag.
It's still good.
I got these shirts made before. I met
He's still rocking the medium fade.
It's not that type of video.
Okay, we don't want to see it.
He's still rocking
Yeah.
that fade. You know.
There you go.
Oh, I just got a fresh cut this morning. Forest Hills Barbershop.
I got one last night. This is a great way for us to talk about something else, getting involved. You know, I think that's a topic that we can all talk about because him and I run a nonprofit. You're involved in a nonprofit for veterans, right? And it really not only am I helping a veteran in my day job, I'm helping them after my day job. So my waking hours are consumed with helping other veterans.
Right.
And it's incredible, right? The guard goes down when they're like, "Oh, you serve in the Marine Corps?" Especially Marine to Marine. Like, "Oh God, here we go. F-bombs are gonna start flying."
Yeah, the F-bombs
You know,
are.
if I talk to somebody who's in the Army, I'm like, I'm not gonna hold it against you, and I'll talk slow. No, but the guard goes down, and we can actually talk to each other. Getting involved is a huge thing, you know, not only for you on a professional level, because nonprofits benefit tremendously from the skills that we possess on our day jobs. I mean, when I got involved with 92 for 22, I saw that their admin backside stuff. And I'm like, dude, you guys, oh my gosh, how many hours are you guys wasting on this when a thing called a lead generation capture form automates all of this?
Yeah.
And it eliminates this 30 to 40 hours of typing
everything.
You know,
we were at your office and we called you and we're like, let us help.
Yeah. There's things that we can bring to the table, and we did that. We did a few other things, and we have at least doubled our followers. We've raised over $55,000 so far this year, and it's just because we help streamline the processes. So.
But when you streamline the processes, then you have more opportunity to get out there and spread the word like we are.
You create that brand awareness, the advocates for you. Like us helping other veterans. I mean, like with John Mick. I mean, that was an awesome. I mean, we got to help him on our day jobs. Number one, right?
The furniture guy.
Yeah. So we helped him. He's been trying to find a house for a year, year and a half, and who you work with matters. His agent wasn't prompt with open houses or showings. His lender, whatever, I don't even know. He ran into Ken at an open house, and Ken's like, call Brad. So I had him pre-approved by Monday. We submitted an offer on Tuesday. Boom. But his story is incredible. He's overcome the demons that a lot of us struggle with. And he started identifying what his triggers were. So he walked away from everything.
Yeah.
He moved in with a family member.
Yep.
He was sleeping on the couch. He was awarded full custody. That's unheard of in the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
Full custody of his 10-month-old daughter.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
So he's sleeping on the couch.
That's even after going through all the trials and tribulations that he went through, taking himself through treatment facilities in Battle Creek, and then being able to prove to the courts here in Michigan that he's fit to have full custody.
We find him a house. We're under contract. He's like, I don't have anything. Well, he's sleeping on a couch. Yeah, you don't have anything. Like no beds, crib, couch, TV, nothing, right? He even bought a house without appliances. But we had him apply for help through 92 to 22. And we're like, let's go. Let's do it. Then we identified a local furniture company.
Ken Pelkowski.
Yep.
Yeah.
My Hometown Furnishings.
There you go.
Great Lakes
we
Furnishings.
we
Great Lakes
identified
Furnishings also,
that company, and we reached out and said, hey, we have an opportunity for you. And he, without hesitation, yes.
Nope, right off the bat.
Come see me.
He's right off the bat, like,
Ken's awesome.
we'll help.
Not how much. Not
Nope.
Just
No.
let's do
Yep.
it.
So he donated a couch, some rugs, some other furnishings, a bed,
Just pretty much everything
dresser.
that he needed.
We stocked his daughter's room with a toddler or a crib that converted to a toddler bed, a dresser.
Yeah.
I think we
full
gave him a
set.
year's worth of diapers. Like we decked out the home for him. We bought a stove, a refrigerator, a microwave, washer and dryer, and we presented the house to him, and he, oh my God, you guys. Like he was just not expecting
the only thing that he was expecting in this house was a refrigerator, a stove, and a microwave. And he didn't know how he was going to be able to get everything else. And when he walked in and he saw what was provided, he told us like a couple days after when everything was able to soak in, because he's like, the next day he was like, I'm still crying because of what you guys did for me. He said, you put my daughter and I 4 years ahead of where we expected to be right now at this point.
Yeah.
So that right there, being able to be a part of an organization that helps veterans do that type of thing, and then also being a part of being a real estate agent helping veterans, the more veterans that we can put into a house and become homeowners is assisting us in trying to stop that 22, the average of 22 veterans.
We
who
are
take their
doing our
life
part.
every day, so.
We are doing everything that we can to decrease that 22, right? And then on a personal level, like it really helps you. It's amazing what happens to your problems when you start getting involved in helping other people with theirs.
Yeah.
Your problems become a lot smaller.
And
don't seem so big.
Well, it keeps you in check too, because I mean, you're able to tell your story to these veterans that are having issues too. So when the more you tell your story, the better you feel and
better you cope with it.
Yes.
Too. Yeah.
When I teach my classes, I share my stories. It's like I release all these toxins, and I ride the high for 3 weeks. Like I'm just like, I'm feeling good. But it's not fun or comfortable for me to do that. I'm standing up there. I'm a combat veteran, served in the Marine Corps. And here I am. I didn't really even have a place to live. I didn't have enough thought process to think past 12 hours from now, line up lodging, so I'm moving back in with my parents, whatever. That's not fun for me to talk about, but I talk about it because I want agents to be able to relate to other veterans. Don't be scared of them. Ask the question, are you or your spouse a veteran? Because you can't assume that we know our benefits. We just sat here for however long and discussed how we didn't know what we don't know on active duty. Or the things that we thought we knew were wrong because they're just regurgitated down from wherever it came from.
Well, and then what you said in regards to you giving those classes, you telling your story, you don't have to be a veteran agent, a military veteran agent, to sit through your classes or to support, because you guys had a class here, I don't remember how long ago it was.
Earlier this year.
And we had 2 veterans show
up.
Yeah.
Thought it was a home
supposed to be just for realtors. And
the thing is too is the veteran reached out to us 92 for 22 and letting us know that they ended up buying a house.
Oh, that's great.
And it all stemmed from the class that you allowed Brad to give here. Somehow got to them. They showed up, and then now that veteran is a homeowner. So you don't have to be a veteran to be involved. You had so many real estate agents that were here, especially from your company, that are now trained for VA. And
how many are vets? I can only think of one.
So I only knew of one that was a veteran
right now. He talks about it. He's active duty. So when he's
a reservist. Pump the brake. He's a reserve.
He's a reservist. He gets put on active orders.
Big difference.
But now,
knowledge.
According to him, he just got He just got promoted. So I don't know why they put him in charge, but he's in charge. So he uses that opportunity to share some of these stories with these people. And it's those little impacts, that education, that knowledge. One person can impact another person, impact another person, impact another person. My son takes all my hats, my 92 for 22 hats, and he puts stickers on his book at school.
That's awesome.
On his Chromebook at school. So as he goes around, people always ask, what does that mean? And what a great talking point, So it just...
Bring awareness and attention to...
awareness. It's all about that communication and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's important to, you guys are full steam ahead with 92 for 22, but none of us use that as a platform to recruit clients.
Correct.
Yep.
It's 92 for 22, and for me, Veteran MX, it comes before anything else. And
what is Veteran MX?
It's a group of veterans that ride dirt bikes nationwide. Basically, try to get veterans out on dirt bikes to learn how to ride dirt bikes, to get out and have physical activity and do something and meet people and mingle with people. Yeah,
it's a team atmosphere.
It really just is another brotherhood outside of the Marine Corps or any branch of service.
I had the opportunity to sponsor an event, and it was pretty cool to see. Other veterans. You guys don't even know each other or didn't know each other, right? And you go out to these. You're at these tracks for a weekend, and you might race twice, right? So there's a lot of downtime. Hurry up and wait, right?
Yeah,
We're used to that, but embracing the suck together, right? You just grow a new bond, a different type of bond.
Yeah, that day that you guys were there, I met half a dozen veterans that I never met before in my life. And it's.
Well, the thing too is they didn't realize that there was a group of you racing together either. So now they're coming in.
Yeah, there was a few different guys who didn't even know about what we call the Warrior class. It's for veterans only, and so that helped out a ton. But I just wanted to touch base on the fact that for all of us, it's helping other veterans comes before anything. Whether
it's always about the veteran. It just blows me away when loan officers or agents are like, "Who do you partner with? Do you have any partnerships? Where's all your Zillow spend going to, or whatever?" I'm like, I don't have any, and they're like, "You're crazy." I'm like, no, because I don't work for an agent. I'll work with agents. I work for the veteran. That's who I work for. It's always about the veteran, no matter what I do, right? That's why I'm so willing to help other loan officers close on a VA deal, right? Not only am I helping a veteran get into a home, I'm educating that loan officer on the VA home loan, so they're not going to hopefully not make that mistake the next time, right? Yeah. But how long did that take me? 5 minutes? Most people are like, no, it's not my deal. I'm not getting any money out of it. It's 5 minutes. You know? Like, how much time are you going to waste on Facebook not posting anything but stalking everybody?
Right.
Stalking
Yeah.
everybody,
Yeah.
flipping through.
Stalking realtors after they want to go for coffee.
You know, that's funny because I mean that's what I was.
To talk to your team.
That's what I
about
was.
The same thing everyone
Exactly.
else does.
Oh, it's
That's what I was
terrible.
told when I
Yeah.
first became a loan officer. Make 40 calls, set 10 appointments from those calls on Monday. Okay, well then nobody answers their phone on Monday. You agents don't work on Mondays. No, I'm just kidding. You guys have meetings and stuff. But when I would actually get somebody on the phone and I would meet with them, it was the 1,000-yard stare. You know, like, okay, how many times have they heard this? I'm sure I'm just regurgitating and saying the same things everybody else has. The only difference is my name is different on this folder, right? So when I started telling them about how I wanted to
share the
be,
why.
you know,
Why do you
exactly.
do it?
Well, I didn't have that yet because I was still
Yeah.
a new loan officer. It was when I started talking about I want to be the VA guy of the state of Michigan. That's when I noticed that they would start re-engaging. So I redesigned my packet so it looked more patriotic, and then I started finding a lot of momentum, right? Because now not only am I setting myself apart, it's the value I bring to you, right? Because again, my goal is if you refer me somebody, I'm going to go above and beyond for them to wow their socks off. It only makes you look even better, right? Less work you have to do, you know? So your why is 100% it.
Yeah, when the why is clear, everything else, because that's why you're so good at the VA part, the VA loan. I mean, you could do any loan you really wanted to.
Yeah, I can do it.
But what's the point of going and being like, I can do conventional, just like
you
8
could-
million other
Jack of all
people.
trades, master of none.
Yeah, he's saying you
Yeah.
could specialize in any one of them, but
A doctor is a doctor, but you also specialize in eyes or
right.
Yeah, what's
ortho
that
or
joke they
ankles
always
or
say?
knees.
You're not gonna go to a cardiologist for brain surgery or something
Correct.
like that. You know, you're not gonna ask the general practitioner what's going on with this growth over here.
yeah.
You know,
I think about it like Tommy Boy.
Oh, that
You know what I'm talking about? Black sheep.
Are we
Black
allowed-
sheep.
Yeah.
You can stick your head up a bull's ass to get a good look at a T-bone steak or whatever he
Yeah, take
says.
the butcher's word for it. That's in Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. And us veterans, we quote movies all the time. You know, that's what we're known for. But I think that's about it. Wrap this up.
Yeah.
Great conversation. Thanks for sitting down with us.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Definitely.
Thank you guys for coming in.
Thanks for the hospitality.